Hey everyone, today I am out here to do another question and answer video. It's been a few weeks since my last one. I intended to do one earlier, but my health has kind of been a comedy of errors since Christmas. So now that I've kind of fully recovered health-wise, I'm back out here to do another question and answer video. Just as a reminder, these questions come directly from my patrons over on Patreon. If you guys become patrons, I'll usually post, hey, anyone got questions, and then I'll pick them out and answer them here on camera. So the first one is, what's your opinion on carrying multiple handguns? Now this is something that I've played with a little bit before in the past. Currently I'm not doing it, but just in general I am for it. If you can do it, if you can pull it off, if you have a way of doing it, carrying multiple guns on your person, I am for it. Whether that be one on your hip, one on your ankle, two on your hip, whatever combination that works for you, I am for it. Everyone's familiar with Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong, and usually it'll go wrong at the worst possible time. So even if you have a super reliable gun, you never know what kind of parts breakages you can expect just at whatever round count you're at. So having a backup gun is a good way to keep yourself in the fight, even if your equipment wants to take you back out of the fight. Again, is it necessary? No. Like I said, I'm currently, for the last however many months, I have been only carrying one gun on me. That's something I'd like to change in the future. I want to get back to the point where I'm carrying at least two, just for myself. By no means am I saying people should or that they have to, but if it's something you want to do and something you can, afford to do, or however you have the body space to do it, then I'm absolutely all for it. And especially everyone's familiar with the idea of a New York reload. Having an extra gun when your gun goes empty is a really nice thing to have. Carry an extra mag, but you got a gun wrapped around that extra mag, basically. The next question is, what is my opinion of pistol caliber carbines? So for those of you who maybe aren't super aware with what necessarily that is, that's your 9mm ARs, your sub guns like the Scorpion Evo, Chris Vector, SIG MPX, all those kind of fall under the pistol caliber carbines. So in general, I know there are some people who are very much against pistol caliber carbines. Their logic basically being, and I don't want to try to put words in anyone's mouth, but as I understand it, the logic being all pistol calibers are underrated, or excuse me, all pistol calibers are underpowered, which I agree with that statement in general. So if you're going to carry a long gun, or a longer gun than your handgun, why not carry an intermediate cartridge like 5.56, 223, 7.62 x 39, or a full caliber rifle like a 308? And there is some merit to that. I can see the logic behind that, and I understand that. However, in my opinion, unless you go into like the SBR territory, it's going to be a lot more difficult to conceal, and say in a backpack or in your vehicle, a 16-inch AR-15 versus a Scorpion Evo pistol with a side-folding brace. It's a lot easier to fit one of those in a backpack than it would be to fit even a broken-down AR-15 in a backpack. One of the other benefits of, say, a pistol caliber carbine is it is possible to get mag compatibility with your carry gun. So for me, I carry Glocks. If I wanted to, I could get, say, a Scorpion, I could get a Chris Vector, a 9mm, and now Glock 17 mags work, Glock 33 round, Glock 18 mags work. So I have that mag compatibility where with my backup mags, they will work in the Chris Vector, which is a really nice thing. And also I don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of extra mags for a brand new magazine style because it's already compatible with the ones that I have. So that's a really nice thing. You don't necessarily get that with, say, an MP5 or Scorpion Evo or any of those, but it is possible to get one that is compatible with your carry gun magazines. Where I do want to draw that line is to make it sure that people understand that a pistol caliber carbine, in my opinion, is not a replacement for a full caliber rifle or an intermediate caliber rifle. In my opinion, if you are someone who is self-defense minded or anything like that, you should own, say, a 5.56, 223, 7.62 x 39, 5.45. You should own one of those rifles. And then if you want to have, say, a truck gun, that again has the mag compatibility or is a little bit easier to conceal, then by all means pistol caliber carbines are fine. They're a lot of fun to shoot at very least, and you know, again, there are some merits there. Just understand the limited efficacy of those pistol calibers in general. My next question is MOA versus mils, and kind of question was, what is MOA versus mils? And I might kind of make a dedicated video on that, because to explain exactly what they are and what the differences are is something that would take a lot longer than what I want this video to be. So what I'm going to do for this video is explain my preference and maybe a little bit of why, and just a quick and dirty explanation of mil versus MOA. If any of you have taken like trigonometry, you know that circles are broken up into degrees or radians, kind of depending on what, you know, units you're using. So MOA is 1 minute of angle. So those of you who are familiar with land navigation and longitude and latitude, you know that those longitude and latitudes are broken up into minutes, seconds, and all that. Kind of think of the same thing for a circle. 360 degrees in a circle. Each one of those degrees can be broken up into minutes and seconds, all that. So basically that 1 minute is that 1 minute of a degree in a circle. Same thing with radians, except with radians there's a different number. All that said, again, I can go in more in depth in another video, but my personal preference is mils, just because having things divisible by 10 that you get with, say, meters and all that makes it a little bit easier for me. Also, that's what I've just been most practiced with. That's what most of my reticles are in. So when I'm doing distance estimation, just having that kind of continuity there between your reticles, your rangefinders, and everything else makes it a lot easier to know holdovers and all that. It is possible to go from mils to MOA, but for me, I just like to keep it all one thing. And since I started with mils, that's what I stick to. If MOA works for you, then by all means, keep doing MOA. MOA is still, you know, really popular. But my personal preference is mils, and again, that's just because by chance that's where I started, and for me it's easier to make those equations happen in mils. The final question is, if I could have an AR in any caliber, what would it be, cost not being an issue? And I'm assuming that the person who asked this is referring to calibers that are already prevalent or existent in AR-15s. And I'll be honest, this is a really tough question, and if you were to ask me a week from now, I might have a different answer. But just to kind of let you know my thoughts right now, I think it kind of depends, which I know is kind of a cop-out answer, but I have a couple different answers that I think I'll give for this. So if I'm in a context of being a citizen defender for whatever's going on, and I'm training with a group of guys, I'm probably going to keep it in 5.56 223, just because of ammo availability, ease of finding parts, and just kind of compatibility with other people in my team or unit or whatever setup that I'm in at the time. And to be honest, cost. Again, I know cost was not an issue in this, but for most people it is. So I'm going to say in that context of being a citizen defender or being a very pro-Constitution individual here in America, and I have an AR-15, I want at least one in 5.56 223, preferably 5.56, just because I can shoot whatever I want. And again, just because, again, ammo availability, you can find that ammo anywhere. You can swap parts with, if it's all mil-spec, you know, generally speaking, you can swap parts with any other AR-15 out there. And again, if I'm working in a group and other people are running AR-15s, it's really nice to be able to have mag compatibility across the whole team. If I run empty and someone else has a mag, you know, I can take one from them and use that in mine. You know, whatever the situation is, that's my general opinion. Now, kind of taking what the original question was, which is if I could have it in anything with cost not being an issue, I would probably have to say 300 Blackout. Now, I know that there are other calibers that can do things as well, quote unquote, as 300 Blackout, and, you know, staying subsonic and all that. But the thing that I like about 300 Blackout is again, you have parts compatibility for everything except for the barrel and gas system. So if I need to swap out my bolt carrier group, I can do that very easily. I don't have to go find some 6.5 Grendel bolt carrier group. I can just grab one from one of my other ARs, throw that in there. Magazines, I still get 30 rounds, and I can still use, generally speaking, the same magazines that I have for the 5.56 223. I don't have to worry about A, finding special magazines, or B, having a severely limited mag compatibility or mag capacity with some of those other Wildcat cartridges like 458 SOCOM. You know, you're really limiting your ammo capacity once you jump up to a caliber like that. So while there are really, really cool calibers you can get in AR-15s, again, like those 458 SOCOMs, you know, 6.5 Grendel, whatever else, I like being able to just take parts from one, put it in another, have it work. I like being able to not have to buy a whole bunch of new magazines for a gun if I don't have to. So by keeping it with the 5.56, I have all those mags already. And then again, I'm not limiting myself whatsoever with those magazines. I can still have 30 rounds, or usually I load to 28 rounds, and still run it no problem. So I know that's probably kind of a boring answer, probably a more boring answer than the person was expecting, but I guess I can't keep that, you know, practically minded part of me away. So that's kind of my thoughts. Again, everything here is completely subjective. These are all my own opinions, but these people asked for my opinions, so that's what I'm giving them. And again, these are all subject to change. Like I said, especially with the caliber one, if you were to ask me a week from now, I might give you a different answer. But again, that's kind of where I'm at now. And hopefully I was able to elaborate in a way that people are understanding where I'm coming from. So if you want to ask questions like the ones that I answered today, go ahead and check out my Patreon page if you feel so inclined, and you start supporting me on there. Then whenever you ask questions, I'll add that to the list for when I come out here to answer those questions. If you have any just general questions, comments, or concerns, you can throw those in the comment section down below. I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. Kind of took me a while because, again, right after Christmas I got strep throat, then I threw my back out, and now I think I have a kidney infection. So, but now I'm kind of back in action, at least for the most part. So I'm finally back out here. So I'm trying to catch up on some of the comments that I missed before. I'm most of the way caught up. So if you left one and I didn't get to you, I'm sorry. But I'm going to try to stay back on top of it now that my health's back where it should be, more or less. But anyway, with all that said, as always, I hope you're able to get something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.